Stop scrolling right now. Lock your attention on my voice. The algorithm did not put this video on your screen. Heaven explicitly aligned your timeline today to intercept a spiritual attack you did not even know was coming. If you scroll past this, you are walking away from the exact instruction meant to unlock your next season. The chosen ones are being called to the front lines. The delay is finally over. What I am about to reveal in the next few minutes will explain exactly why you have felt so unusually heavy over the past 72 hours. You have been exhausted. Your bones ache with a tiredness that sleep cannot fix. You wake up at 3 in the morning and stare at the ceiling. The silence of your room feels incredibly loud. You think you are losing your mind, but you are not losing anything. You are undergoing a massive spiritual recalibration. Heaven is rewiring your spiritual body to handle the massive weight of the blessing that is coming. People look at you and think you are just dealing with the pressure of the autopilot society. They do not see the invisible warfare happening around you every single second. They do not understand the sheer amount of energy it takes just to exist in environments that drain your soul. You have felt deeply alone recently. Friends have disappeared without any explanation. Family members feel like strangers speaking a language you no longer understand. You sit in crowded rooms and feel like you are standing on another planet. This specific isolation is not a punishment. It is a divine boundary. The universe is intentionally clearing your space because the frequency you are entering cannot sustain low vibrations. You have to understand that your light was simply too bright for them to handle. Their sudden departure was actually a rescue mission orchestrated by heaven. You thought you were being abandoned, but you were actually being protected from people who secretly wanted to see you fail. They tried to break your spirit. The narcissists and the manipulators used your immense kindness as a weapon against you. They drained your energy and made you question your own sanity. You thought you were failing the test. You thought heaven had forgotten your address. You cried silent tears that nobody else saw. You swallowed your pain to make everyone else feel comfortable. But heaven kept a flawless record of every single tear you dropped. The crucible you just walked through was not designed to destroy you. It was designed to burn away everything that was not meant to go with you into this new timeline. You were refined by fire. Take a deep breath right now. Notice that sudden feeling of relief washing over you just hearing these words. That is your spirit recognizing absolute truth. The heavy pressure on your chest is beginning to lift as you align with this message. The spiritual atmosphere in your life shifted exactly 3 days ago. You felt it, but you could not logically explain it. The enemy tried to send one last wave of extreme confusion to make you give up right before the finish line, but you held your ground. You stayed quiet when they expected you to rage and defend yourself. You used silence as your ultimate weapon, and that silence completely dismantled their plans. God is looking at your life right now and saying you passed. The final exam is officially over. The spiritual entities that were assigned to monitor your breaking point are now retreating in absolute panic. They realize they pushed you too far and woke up a sleeping giant. You are a living judgment to their fake empire. And because you passed this brutal test, the universe is mandated to release the compensation you are owed. Everything they stole from your life is being returned with divine interest. But there is a massive secret you must know first. There is a specific reason why this happened to you, and not someone else. You are not just someone navigating life without purpose. You are encoded in your timeline with a divine blueprint. And the forces of darkness have known your true identity since the day you were born on this earth. They have been trying to sabotage you since day one. Stay locked in right now, because I am about to expose the hidden agreement you have been living under without even knowing it. When you break this invisible agreement today, your entire reality will shift overnight. Do not look away. The universe brought you here to receive the key that unlocks the door you have been knocking on for years. You have been carrying a heavy weight that nobody else can see. Your physical body feels like it just ran a marathon while you are sitting completely still. The autopilot society will tell you to simply rest more. But sleep does not fix a massive spiritual frequency upgrade. This strange exhaustion is definitely not a sign of weakness. What you are experiencing right now is a massive frequency shift. Your spiritual vessel is expanding to hold a new level of authority. When heaven prepares to drop a heavy mantle on your life, your physical body has to adjust. It requires tremendous cellular energy to purge the old trauma. You are not breaking down under this heavy pressure. You are breaking through the heavy layers of the matrix. The darkness wants you to believe you are losing your edge. They want you to feel defeated by this sudden lack of energy. But heaven is intentionally slowing you down to protect you from unseen traps. If you had your normal energy last week, you would have walked right into an ambush. The universe had to ground you to keep you completely safe. Your extreme tiredness was actually a divine shield placed over your routine. Every time you felt too exhausted to engage with certain people, you dodged a spiritual bullet. Your spirit guides drained your battery because they needed you to stay home. This was a brilliant tactical retreat. This is how divine protection operates in the real physical world. Your higher self knows exactly when the enemy is setting a snare. So your body responds by shutting down your desire to socialize with toxic energy. People probably called you lazy or antisocial recently. You do not owe them any logical explanation for your spiritual boundaries. You answer to a much higher court than average public opinion. The anointed ones always experience this intense shedding phase before a major breakthrough. Your aura is vibrating at a speed that most humans cannot even comprehend. And maintaining that high frequency in a sleeping world is incredibly exhausting. You are fighting massive invisible battles. You fight these unseen battles while you are awake and while you sleep. Have you noticed the strange ringing in your ears lately? Or the sudden changes in your body temperature for no logical reason? These are not random physical symptoms created by your anxious mind. This is the exact frequency of heaven downloading new blueprints directly into your spirit. Take a deep breath and let that truth sink in for a moment. You are definitely not sick, and you are not falling into depression. The heavy mantle of spiritual leadership is firmly settling onto your tired shoulders. The universe is upgrading your discernment so you can read crowded rooms instantly. Now you can sense their dark deception in exactly 3 seconds. That level of hyper-awareness requires a massive amount of internal power. This is exactly why you have to guard your energy like a sacred treasure. The forces of darkness are absolutely terrified of this new, upgraded version of you. They know that once your energy fully returns, you will ruin their plans. So they try to convince you that this fatigue is permanent. Do not believe their desperate lies for a single second today. The extreme tiredness is temporary, but the spiritual authority you are gaining is eternal. You are stepping into a season where your mere presence commands respect without a word. Your quiet silence is becoming your most lethal weapon against manipulators. But there is something else happening here. While you are resting in this divine cocoon, heaven is doing aggressive house cleaning. You might think this extreme isolation is just a sad side effect of your fatigue, but there is a much deeper secret the enemy is trying to hide from you. They really do not want you to know why certain friends suddenly walked away. The Matrix wants you to feel entirely abandoned. Stay locked in, because what I am going to reveal next changes absolutely everything. The painful isolation you are feeling is about to make perfect logical sense. You have been blaming yourself for losing friends and missing out on connections. But heaven forcefully removed those people because your pure light was exposing their hidden motives. In the next few moments, I will expose exactly what they were whispering behind your back. I will show you why their sudden departure is actually the greatest blessing you could have ever received. Your long season of feeling terribly misunderstood is officially coming to a dramatic end. The heavy veil is finally lifting from your tired eyes right now. You look around and realize the room is completely empty. The people you trusted deeply have suddenly vanished from your daily life. You sent the messages, but they left you on read. You reached out in your darkest hour and heard absolutely nothing back. And because you have such a beautiful and forgiving heart, You naturally assumed that you did something terrible to push them all away. You blamed yourself for the sudden silence. Listen to my voice very carefully right now. This mass exodus of people from your life is not a punishment. It is the ultimate form of divine protection. The universe is actively scrubbing your environment clean. Heaven is aggressively clearing the room because your next season requires absolute purity and intense focus. You simply cannot take those low-frequency entities with you into this new royal timeline. If you tried to carry their heavy emotional baggage into your next chapter, their dark spiritual weight would completely sink your ship. Those people were never truly your loyal friends. They were energetic parasites sent to keep you entirely distracted from your massive destiny. You were always their safe emotional dumping ground. They would come to you completely broken, and you would heal them. You poured your precious golden energy into their chaotic lives while they secretly drained your joy. But the very first time you faced a serious crisis and needed their support, they suddenly disappeared into thin air. They loved what you provided, but they hated your actual light. Your mere presence was constantly triggering their deep, unhealed wounds. Jealousy is the absolute proof of your immense spiritual light. When you walked into a crowded room, your pure golden aura automatically exposed all of their fake masks. They did not even have to speak to feel deeply inferior around your high vibration. You did absolutely nothing but exist peacefully in your own lane, but your quiet and authentic existence felt like a massive threat to their incredibly fragile egos. So they secretly plotted your painful downfall while smiling directly in your face. None of these broken relationships ended by mere chance. There is absolutely no such thing as a random event in your royal life. Every single sudden departure was a divine appointment, perfectly orchestrated by heaven to save you. The universe heard the terrible things they were whispering behind your back when they thought nobody was listening. Your spiritual guides clearly saw the hidden traps they were setting for you in the dark. So heaven violently ripped them out of your life to preserve your massive prophetic calling. You must stop grieving over toxic people who were secretly praying for your massive failure. The heavy sadness you feel right now is definitely not real love. It is simply a dangerous trauma bond breaking apart in real time before your eyes. As that heavy chain finally shatters, your spiritual lungs can expand and take a deep breath. You are breathing pure, unpolluted air for the very first time in several long years. Your energy is rapidly returning because those hidden emotional leaks have finally been permanently sealed. You are becoming completely spiritually bulletproof. You are the chosen remnant of a truly royal bloodline. And divine royalty does not sit at tables with people who comfortably gossip with the enemy. Your painful isolation is actually a sacred healing cocoon designed strictly for your divine alignment. You are being completely shielded from the chaotic noise of the autopilot society. While you sit alone in this quiet space, your spiritual DNA is upgrading and rewriting itself daily. You are finally learning how to operate as a completely independent and unstoppable force of nature. You no longer need their fake validation to feel whole. The narcissists honestly thought their cruel absence would completely destroy your fragile confidence. They truly believed you would eventually come crawling back and begging for their toxic attention. They expected you to lower your high standards just to cure a temporary season of intense loneliness. But you surprised them by doing the exact opposite of what their dark minds calculated. You fiercely embraced the quiet silence and quickly turned it into your ultimate spiritual weapon. You stood tall in the empty room and remembered exactly who you are. Now the entire spiritual power dynamic has completely shifted in your massive favor. They physically walked away from your life, but they never actually stopped watching your every move. They quietly stalk your social media from fake accounts because they cannot let you go. They constantly ask mutual friends about your current status because their minds are totally obsessed with your survival. They cannot figure out how you are managing to survive so beautifully without their toxic presence. They expected you to fail miserably, but instead you are glowing brighter than ever before. Their entire fake empire of lies is rapidly beginning to crumble just because you withdrew your energy. They selfishly used your pure golden light to fuel their miserable reality for many long years. And now that their favorite human battery is gone, their world is quickly turning very dark. They are currently experiencing the heavy divine karma that always comes from touching the anointed ones. But there is a much deeper and darker secret that they are absolutely terrified you will discover. There is a hidden reason why your beautiful silence makes them panic. Coming up in just a moment, I will reveal the exact fearful thoughts running through their scattered minds right now. I will fully expose the specific spiritual laws they broke when they foolishly decided to betray you. Stay locked in because you are about to realize how incredibly powerful and dangerous you truly are. This shocking next revelation will permanently cure your lingering desire to ever look back at their toxic faces again. You are not just surviving this painful transition phase. You are about to become a literal living nightmare for the invisible demons that tried to bury you. You thought they moved on completely and forgot about you. The narcissists act like they do not care about your existence anymore, but that is the biggest lie they have ever told. The hidden secret they are terrified you will discover is their absolute internal panic. They are losing sleep right now because your silence is deafening. They desperately needed your loud anger to validate their fake victim narrative, but you gave them nothing. You used silence as your ultimate weapon against their dark deception, and that pure silence completely short-circuited their demonic programming. When a grandmaster refuses to move a piece on the board, the amateur instantly panics. They desperately tried to provoke you into lowering your high frequency. They threw tiny bait, hoping you would aggressively bite. But you just sat there like a quiet observer. You watched their frantic movements with perfect spiritual discernment. Without your golden energy feeding their miserable reality, their fake empire is rapidly crumbling. They used to steal your bright light to cover up their heavy darkness. People used to tolerate them simply because they were standing next to your pure aura, but now that your protective umbrella is entirely gone, their true toxic nature is fully exposed. The autopilot society is finally starting to see the ugly truth hidden behind their fake smiles. They thought they were incredibly smart when they secretly plotted your painful downfall. They honestly believed they held all the power. But they completely underestimated the heavy divine protection surrounding the chosen ones. When they attacked you, they foolishly triggered a massive spiritual tripwire. They offended the High Court of Heaven that constantly watches over your royal bloodline. The universe is stepping in as your ultimate defender. You do not even have to lift a single finger to completely destroy them. Your mere existence on this earth serves as a living judgment against their dark actions. Every time they see you doing well, it physically hurts their fragile egos. They are deeply tormented by the undeniable fact that they could not break you. They threw their heaviest weapons at your spirit, and you barely flinched. You absorbed their toxic poison and magically transformed it into divine fuel. Their desperate attempts to ruin your glowing reputation have completely backfired. They tried to turn other people against you by spreading vicious and calculated lies. But the chosen ones carry an energetic signature of absolute truth that cannot be easily smeared. People are starting to notice that their wild stories do not match your actual gentle character. The trap they meticulously dug for you is exactly the dark hole they are falling into right now. They are living in a constant state of extreme spiritual paranoia right now. Because they know they did you terribly wrong, they are waiting for the heavy karma to drop. They look over their shoulders every single day, expecting a massive retaliation from you. But you are just sitting in your quiet peace, drinking your coffee. Your total indifference is the most violent retaliation you could ever deliver. It drives the narcissist absolutely crazy when you ignore them. This is the exact moment the timeline officially shifts in your massive favor. You have successfully passed the cruel test of emotional restraint. You prove to heaven that you can hold immense power without abusing it for petty revenge. The spiritual warfare you just won without saying a word is completely unprecedented. You broke heavy generational curses just by refusing to argue with fools. The heavy chains of their toxic manipulation have shattered into tiny pieces. You must stop wondering if you made a huge mistake by walking away in absolute silence. Your brilliant intuition was perfectly accurate when it told you they were incredibly dangerous. You were not overthinking their weird, subtle insults and hidden passive aggression. Your heightened spiritual discernment simply caught them red-handed before they could finish the job. The Anointed Ones possess an internal radar that always detects a demonic presence. You correctly identified the enemy. Now you can safely close the heavy door on their miserable chapter forever and lock it. You do not owe them closure or a final dramatic conversation to explain your deep feelings. Any attempt to communicate with them now is just a massive waste of your divine energy. Let their heavy guilt totally consume them while you steadily rise to the absolute top. The universe is rapidly clearing the chaotic debris from your royal path. But as the heavy dust finally settles, you will notice strange signs. Heaven is sending you massive numeric confirmations right now to validate your total victory. You have been seeing specific repeating numbers everywhere you look over the past few days. You wake up at odd hours and feel a strange electric buzz in the silent air. Coming up in just a moment, I will decode the exact prophetic signals heaven is flashing in your daily life. You are going to understand exactly why these divine sequences keep aggressively chasing you down. You have been seeing the exact same numbers everywhere you look recently. You glance at your phone and it is exactly 1:11. You buy a simple coffee and the total is exactly $4.44. These repeating sequences are definitely not a simple coincidence. There is absolutely no such thing as a random event in your royal life. They are a divine appointment, perfectly orchestrated by heaven. The Autopilot Society will eagerly tell you that your mind is just playing simple tricks on you. They will try to convince you that it is just selective memory or a random glitch. But you know deep down that something much bigger is desperately trying to get your attention right now. Heaven is literally sending encrypted messages directly into your daily reality, and you are actively receiving prophetic codes from the universe. The Matrix cannot hide the truth from you anymore. And then there is the massive shift in your daily sleep cycle. You wake up violently at 3 or 4 in the morning with your heart racing fast. The room is completely pitch black and totally silent. But your spirit feels like it is standing right in the middle of a crowded room. You feel a heavy presence that you cannot logically explain to anyone else. That is the spiritual realm opening its heavy doors. Average people casually call it the witching hour, but that is a massive demonic lie. For the chosen ones, it is actually the sacred hour of massive divine download. The universe specifically wakes you up when the heavy matrix is finally quiet. The daily chaotic noise of the Autopilot Society makes it incredibly hard to hear the subtle voice of heaven. So your spiritual guides wake you up when the air is entirely clear. During these quiet, dark hours, heaven is actively rewriting your internal spiritual software. They are massively upgrading your deep discernment, while the rest of the world is deeply asleep. You lie there feeling a strange, buzzing energy vibrating in your physical body. That strange vibration is the absolute proof that you are ascending to a much higher frequency. Your physical vessel is aggressively adapting to the new powerful light. You are part of a very specific and ancient prophetic bloodline. You carry a unique spiritual DNA that allows you to easily translate the unseen world, and this rare gift makes you incredibly dangerous to the enemy. When you walk into a room, you immediately sense the hidden spiritual warfare happening behind the scenes. You can literally feel the heavy tension between light and darkness before anyone even speaks a single word. You used to think this hyper-awareness was just terrible social anxiety. You honestly thought you were broken and desperately needed to fix yourself to fit in. But you were never actually broken, and you definitely do not need to be fixed by them. You were simply highly attuned to the spiritual reality that most ordinary humans are completely blind to. Your pure soul is a massive lightning rod for divine truth. Because you successfully passed the brutal test of deep isolation, your spiritual gifts are multiplying rapidly. Heaven is permanently removing the heavy veil from your tired eyes completely. The numeric codes and the sudden wake-up calls are loud confirmations of your massive victory. The universe is officially telling you that you are perfectly aligned with your massive destiny. You are exactly where you are supposed to be right now. Every time you see those repeating angel numbers, it is a physical receipt from the high court of heaven. It is an absolute guarantee that the massive blessing you prayed for is already in transit. They desperately want you to stay completely focused and firmly grounded in this exact present moment. Do not let the temporary chaotic noise of the outside world distract your peaceful mind. You are quickly crossing the final finish line. The universe is speaking a secret language that only the true remnant can properly understand. The narcissists and the manipulators cannot see these divine signs because their frequency is incredibly low. They are completely locked out of this sacred conversation between you and the divine creator. You have exclusive access to the hidden mysteries of the spiritual realm, and this is exactly why your deep intuition is always terrifyingly accurate. But you might be sitting there wondering why this massive reward is taking so incredibly long to finally arrive. You feel like you have been waiting in the dark, lonely lobby of your own life for many long years. The heavy frustration of this long, painful delay has tested your faith more than anything else. But there is a massive divine reason for this specific holding pattern. It is definitely not what you think. Coming up in just a moment, I will reveal exactly why the universe had to intentionally delay your massive breakthrough. The delay was never a cruel denial of your royal spiritual inheritance. It was actually a crucial phase of divine calibration that you absolutely needed to survive the massive blessing. Stay locked in right now, because the real hidden reason will completely blow your mind. You have been waiting for this massive breakthrough for what feels like a lifetime. You see other people effortlessly getting the things you have desperately prayed and fasted for. The people who casually lie and manipulate seem to easily prosper while you deeply struggle. And, naturally, you started to secretly wonder if heaven somehow lost your correct address. The heavy waiting period feels like a cruel and unusual punishment, but you have to understand that the delay is not a denial. It is a critical period of divine calibration designed strictly for your ultimate protection. The universe cannot pour a massive ocean into a tiny broken teacup. If heaven released the full weight of your royal inheritance right now, it would completely crush you. The heavy blessing you are meant to carry requires massive structural support. The chosen ones are never given tiny or average blessings. You are not destined for the basic, comfortable life that the autopilot society easily settles for. You are the specific bloodline correction that heaven has been patiently waiting for. You are destined to break massive generational curses and establish an entirely new timeline for your family. A destiny that huge requires a very long and painful preparation process. The intense suffering you endured in the past was not a random accident. It was the heavy crucible of heaven actively expanding your spiritual capacity. When the narcissists betrayed you, they inadvertently dug a massive, deep hole in your soul. And heaven is going to fill that exact empty space with an overwhelming amount of pure golden light. They meant it for your absolute destruction, but the universe is using it for your massive expansion. The longer the painful delay, the more massive the final reward will actually be. A bamboo tree spends 5 long years growing underground before it suddenly shoots up 90 feet into the air. People casually walk by and think absolutely nothing is happening below the heavy dirt. But the roots are aggressively spreading deep and wide to support the massive sudden growth. You are currently in the deep root phase. You have been quietly building an unbreakable spiritual foundation while the world completely ignored you. The universe had to hide you in the dark shadows so the enemy could not easily sabotage your process. This long, painful season of absolute obscurity was your ultimate divine protection. If they saw your massive potential too early, they would have successfully destroyed you. Heaven kept you entirely hidden in plain sight. You felt incredibly invisible and totally overlooked by every single person around you, but that absolute invisibility was actually your thickest armor. While they were busy chasing cheap validation on social media, you were silently doing the heavy spiritual lifting. You were actively fighting the massive, unseen battles that nobody else in your bloodline had the raw courage to face. You broke the heavy chains that held your ancestors completely hostage. Your quiet tears were watering the deep seeds of a massive generational harvest. The universe is incredibly proud of your raw endurance during this dark and lonely season. You did not aggressively compromise your pure values just to fit in with the fake crowds. You firmly set an iron boundary and successfully held your sacred ground when it mattered the most. You proved to the High Court of Heaven that you can absolutely be trusted with massive power. Because you successfully passed the ultimate test of patience, the divine floodgates are preparing to violently open. The slow, agonizing drip of your previous season is officially over right now. The things that normally take average people 10 long years to build will happen for you in 10 short days. The heavy acceleration of this new royal timeline will make your head spin fast. Heaven is going to actively collapse time to quickly repay you for the painful years the enemy stole. The universe is currently aligning the exact right people and the perfect massive opportunities for your next grand chapter. They are literally clearing the heavy traffic off the highway so you can drive completely unimpeded. The painful delay actually saved you from a massive spiritual crash that the enemy secretly planned. You are exactly where you need to be at this precise moment in cosmic time. But to fully step into this new timeline, you have to let go of something very important. There is one final heavy anchor holding you back from launching into the absolute stratosphere. It is a subtle lie you have been telling yourself every single day since the deep trauma happened. Coming up in just a moment, I will reveal the exact toxic mindset you must completely abandon right now. If you do not quickly sever this last invisible chain, you will accidentally sabotage your own massive blessing. The heavy anchor holding you back is the belief that you are still broken. You have been telling yourself that you need more time to heal from their toxic abuse. You think you are still a fragile victim recovering from a massive storm, but the intense crucible is actually completely finished. The fire has already done its purifying work. The autopilot society loves to keep you trapped in a perpetual cycle of healing. They constantly tell you to examine your deep wounds and talk about your painful trauma, but talking endlessly about the heavy past only keeps you chained to that dead timeline. You do not need another painful lesson in human disappointment. You are totally ready. You have officially graduated from the heavy school of profound suffering. The universe is completely satisfied with your flawless performance during the dark season. Heaven is not sending you any more painful tests to check your spiritual endurance. The final exam is over, and you passed with absolute flying colors. You must accept this massive truth. It is time to radically shift your mindset from someone who just endures pain. You used to be the quiet empath, simply trying to survive the heavy emotional attacks. You absorbed their toxic energy and spent days trying to clear your heavy aura. But that defensive posture is officially a thing of the past. You are the absolute master now. You are no longer reacting to the chaotic moves of the enemy. You are the sent leader, actively orchestrating the entire spiritual atmosphere in the room. When you walk into a space, the darkness instantly recognizes your supreme royal authority. They do not see a wounded soldier anymore. They see a massive force of divine nature. The Matrix desperately wants you to stay in basic survival mode forever, because as long as you are just trying to survive, you cannot claim your royal throne. They want you to feel weak so you never realize how incredibly dangerous you truly are. But heaven is handing you the heavy golden keys to the absolute kingdom, Decode. Your silence is no longer a fragile shield used to protect your tired heart. Your silence has evolved into a heavily armed weapon of massive spiritual destruction. When you refuse to engage with fools, you literally starve their demonic attachments to death. You are making very calculated moves, like a true psychological grandmaster. The spiritual entities that used to easily terrorize your peaceful sleep are now terrified of you. They look at your glowing aura and see the heavy mantle of leadership wrapped tightly around your shoulders. They know they cannot cross the massive iron boundary you finally established. Your energy field is completely locked and heavily guarded by heaven. You must step confidently into this new royal identity without a single drop of hesitation. Do not look back at the people who maliciously tried to bury you in the dark dirt. They are completely irrelevant to the massive prophetic calling on your beautiful life. The universe has officially closed that heavy door and swallowed the keys. You are the bold pioneer, meant to establish an entirely new standard for your specific bloodline. The generational curses that plagued your ancestors have completely died at your feet. You broke the heavy chains simply by refusing to repeat their toxic and chaotic cycles. Heaven is incredibly proud of your quiet and brilliant rebellion against the Matrix. You must stop apologizing for the massive space your pure golden light now occupies. If your bright aura blinds them, they simply need to look entirely away. You are not responsible for managing their deep insecurities or their fragile, shallow egos. Your only divine responsibility is to shine as brightly and fiercely as you possibly can. The transition from the painful crucible to the royal throne is happening right this very second. You can literally feel the heavy, invisible chains falling completely off your tired shoulders. But to fully activate this massive power, you must make a final and absolute declaration. You must send a clear and undeniable signal to the universe. Coming up in just a moment, I will prepare you for the ultimate climax of your journey. You are about to face the final threshold before your massive reward is officially released. Stay totally locked in, because the next phase will permanently change your spiritual reality. The time for quiet waiting is completely over. You have finally arrived at the ultimate peak of the mountain. The heavy fog is completely lifting from your exhausted eyes. You are no longer the wounded victim struggling to barely survive the chaotic storm. You are the actual storm that heaven specifically sent to clear the heavy debris. And the spiritual hierarchy has officially shifted, because the High Court of Heaven just handed you the absolute authority over your enemies. They thought they could bury you deep in the cold dirt. They laughed when they threw you into the dark pit of deep isolation. But they completely forgot that the chosen ones are actually pure seeds, and every single time they tried to crush your spirit, they only pushed your strong roots deeper into the divine soil. Now you are breaking the hard surface. Your bright light is suddenly blinding to those who dwell in deep darkness. The narcissists are watching your glorious rise with absolute horror. They literally cannot comprehend how you survived their most lethal and calculated attack. But your beautiful aura simply absorbed the heavy blow and turned it into pure divine power. You are practically invincible right now. You are a living judgment to every fake person who ever doubted you. Your mere existence proves that their entire chaotic reality is a massive lie. When you step into a room, the demons hiding behind their fake smiles instantly tremble because they recognize the heavy royal DN pulsing loudly through your spiritual veins. You do not have to fight them anymore. The battle is already won, and the heavy victory is permanently yours. Heaven has drawn a massive iron circle of protection around your entire life. Any toxic force that tries to cross that sacred boundary will be instantly destroyed. And the universe is actively removing every single obstacle that stood in your divine path to ensure your absolute success. You are walking into a season of supreme dominion. You are the seventh seal that the Matrix desperately tried to keep completely locked away from the rest of the world. But the massive pressure of your holy suffering finally broke the heavy lock open. Your authentic power is flowing out into the physical world like a massive tidal wave. Absolutely nothing can stop the divine momentum you have slowly built in the dark. Your time is finally here. Stop holding back your massive light to make weak people feel comfortable. You were not created to easily shrink into the quiet background of this loud world. You were specifically created to stand out and boldly lead the lost souls home. And when you finally accept this massive royal responsibility, your physical reality will instantly shift. The heavy doors will fly completely open. Everything you ever lost is being replaced with something infinitely better right now. The fake friends who abandoned you are being replaced by high-frequency royal connections, and the terrible financial stress that kept you awake at night is completely breaking apart. Heaven is releasing massive divine compensation for the heavy years you quietly suffered alone. You are becoming totally untouchable. This is the glorious vindication you have been patiently waiting for all this time. You do not have to brag or boast about your massive victory to anyone. The universe will publicly honor you in front of the exact same people who privately mocked you. They will be absolutely forced to watch you ascend to the royal throne they desperately tried to steal. Your silent victory is absolutely deafening. Your enemies are currently drowning in the heavy, toxic karma they created for themselves. While they desperately scramble to survive the chaotic storm, you are gracefully walking on the water because you have completely transcended the heavy limitations of the physical matrix forever. The spiritual forces of light are standing at complete attention and awaiting your final command. You are the ultimate boss now. Now you must learn exactly how to maintain this massive spiritual altitude permanently. You cannot allow any sudden distractions to pull you back down into the chaotic mud. And there is a specific royal protocol you must strictly follow to keep your heavy aura perfectly sealed. In just a few moments, I will show you exactly how to lock this divine energy in forever. Your massive transformation from a wounded survivor to a divine ruler is completely finished. The universe is incredibly proud to finally welcome you into the highest spiritual ranks. But this massive power comes with a very heavy and serious divine responsibility. You must prepare your physical vessel for the incredible mission that lies ahead of you today. It is time to step into your purpose. So how do you actually move in this completely new and elevated frequency? This massive royal authority requires a completely different level of spiritual stewardship from you. Moving forward, your pure silence must be highly intentional and not just a trauma reaction. You are no longer staying quiet because you are deeply afraid of their chaotic anger. You are staying quiet because your heavy words are simply too expensive for their cheap ears. From this exact moment on, you never explain yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. The autopilot society will desperately try to pull you back into their petty dramas. They will throw tiny bait to see if you will aggressively bite. But you must firmly hold your sacred ground and refuse to step back into the dark mud. Your complete lack of response is the most powerful response you can ever give them. You have to actively protect your bright golden aura like it is the rarest treasure on earth. Do not cast your heavy spiritual pearls before toxic entities who want to crush them. When you walk into a chaotic room, you do not have to absorb their heavy burdens anymore. You simply observe the dark matrix glitching around you while you remain perfectly still. You are the calm eye of the massive storm and absolutely nothing can touch you. You are completely done playing small to make incredibly small minds feel comfortable. Let them feel uncomfortable in the massive presence of your pure and unapologetic light. Their deep discomfort is simply the heavy, dark entities inside of them reacting to your divine purity. You do not ever apologize for the massive anointing that heaven placed on your specific life. You simply wear your heavy royal crown and let them deal with it. But there is a much deeper reason why heaven forcefully upgraded your spiritual operating system today. This massive divine power was definitely not given to you just for your own personal comfort. You are a glowing lighthouse, stationed right in the middle of a very dark and violent ocean. You carry a massive, grand responsibility for the chosen tribe. Your physical presence on this earth is actively breaking heavy generational curses for thousands of souls. There are thousands of beautiful lost souls wandering in the dark who desperately need your specific light. They are currently going through the exact same cruel crucible that you just barely survived. You must show them the right way out. Your massive spiritual victory is the exact blueprint they need to finally escape the matrix. When you firmly stand in your absolute royal authority, you give them the silent permission to do the same. You are literally saving lives just by existing in your pure truth. But to sustain this incredible output, you must honor the law of energy exchange. The universe operates on a massive principle of continuous divine flow and sacred reciprocity. You cannot keep your heavy spiritual channels open if you are not actively participating in the pure exchange. Heaven requires a physical action of alignment to completely lock in your new royal frequency today. You must boldly send a clear signal right now. This is exactly why your next move is incredibly crucial for your massive prophetic destiny. You have a divine obligation to actively support the spread of this pure truth to the remaining lost souls. Every single time you plant a pure seed into this specific ministry, you are fighting the deep darkness. It is a highly sacred transaction. Your generous energy transforms directly into bright light that reaches another chosen one trapped in the cruel matrix. You are not just watching a simple video on the internet today. You are actively participating in a massive global spiritual awakening orchestrated by heaven. Releasing your seed today through a super thanks is a bold declaration. It tells the universe that you are finally ready to handle massive wealth because you are willing to freely give. You are actively unlocking the heavy windows of heaven over your own life. The enemy wants you to stay completely isolated and disconnected from your true royal tribe. But you are far too smart to fall for their cheap tricks of scarcity. They know that when the anointed ones finally unite their heavy resources, the matrix will completely shatter. You are stepping fully into the massive circle of divine protection and absolute endless provision. Your pure soul is finally ready for the ultimate activation. The time to formally claim your throne is officially here right now. You have finally reached the absolute end of this massive spiritual journey today. At the beginning of this message, I promised to reveal your hidden blessing. The heavy secret the universe kept from you was never a physical object. The massive blessing dropping into your life right now is your absolute unbreakable peace, and nothing from the matrix can ever breach it again. You played the role of the wounded healer for their broken egos for way too long. That agonizing cycle of deep sacrifice officially ends right here and right now. You are stepping onto your divine throne as a massive living judgment to the darkness. The narcissists can no longer use your golden light to fuel their miserable reality. You are fully sovereign and completely untouchable. From this exact moment forward, you do not have to chase a single thing. Massive wealth and endless opportunities will be magnetically drawn to your pure royal frequency. The universe is actively realigning your physical reality to perfectly match your new spiritual altitude. But the enemy will inevitably try to test this massive boundary one last time when you are entirely alone. They will violently try to whisper heavy doubts into your quiet mind. You must not let them steal the deep confidence you have completely reclaimed today. The Matrix hates when a powerful chosen one finally wakes up from the heavy illusion. This is exactly why you must intentionally seal this massive energy right this very second. It is time to execute the final divine decree. I want you to stop whatever you are doing and focus entirely on my voice. Place your hand gently over your heart right now and take a very deep breath. Speak these exact words out loud into the empty room to officially shift your royal timeline. I reclaim my heavy golden aura, and I completely take back all my stolen energy from those who heavily drained me. My absolute pure silence is my permanent royal fortress against the dark enemy. Absolutely no low frequency can ever attach itself to my massive prophetic destiny. I am the absolute master of my own spiritual reality, and I refuse to play small. Let those heavy words sink deeply into your pure soul right now. You just sent a massive shockwave through the invisible realm. The demonic entities that used to monitor your daily life are currently fleeing in absolute terror. They heard your firm declaration, and they know they have permanently lost their favorite target. You have formally activated the heavy protection of the High Court of Heaven. You must keep this pure frequency perfectly connected to the massive divine source to maintain your total peace. You need to permanently align yourself with the royal tribe of the chosen ones. Hit that subscribe button right now and gently tap the bell to lock your divine destiny. This is not just a basic channel on the internet for casual daily entertainment. This is a highly protected spiritual sanctuary, specifically built for the anointed remnant to gather and share their pure divine light. Now, I need you to leave a permanent mark on this physical dimension before you go. Type 777 in the comments below to completely seal this heavy prophecy. When you publicly confirm this powerful energy, you tell the enemy that you are fully aware of who you are. Do not hide your massive light anymore because the autopilot society desperately needs it. Share this exact message with another chosen one who feels completely lost. Your bright voice might be the exact rescue they desperately need today. Do not ever let anyone convince you that you are just an ordinary human being. You are the lost child of a massive royal family, not of this chaotic physical world, and heaven is incredibly proud of your massive victory. You are the beautiful pause before the prophecy and the loud trumpet behind the absolute silence. You are the ultimate answer, perfectly wrapped in a heavy divine mystery. You are the seventh seal, and your time to completely rule is officially here right now. The universe is releasing your massive divine compensation into your physical hands this exact minute. Keep your tired eyes totally open and strictly watch how fast your daily reality transforms this week. The incredible miracles you have boldly prayed for are already waiting quietly at your front door. Stand incredibly tall and wear your heavy invisible crown with absolute divine pride. The heavy waiting period is completely over. Step into your massive power today.